On the surface, it's about Martin and Dovidl, and they are separated through tragic events and will find each other again 35 years later. And then it's very much about the studying of their relationship, the two of them.
The essence for me is the relationship between Dovidl and Martin. And I said right from the outset, as long as you're true to the two characters, I'm happy with what you do. You go ahead, you have creative license.
It all deals with the complexity of somebody who comes into a family who has a rare and brilliant talent, who gets a lot of attention, and what that does to the relationship with the son of the family.
It's not fair.
What isn't?
No bacon allowed in the house. No milk puddings. Special food for the genius. And he doesn't even have to eat it.
Dovidl's an invader, like suddenly young Martin has to share his room. He doesn't want a stranger coming into his house. So there's a immediate resistance, if not rejection, to Dovidl showing up. And then little by little they get closer, and I think that Martin grows compassion for what's happening with Dovidl's family.
Well, he's a guy that was, in a way, within his family even. When they took David in, grew to love his new brother, who just vanished on him.
But together with that goes something else, a jealousy that builds, because Martin's father is so impressed by Dovidl's violin playing that he treats him specially.
Professor Flash, what do you think?
Too many flourishes.
We have a beautiful cast, but it was pretty complicated because each main character has 3 ages. And I think the director, François Girard, did wonders because you see the young Dovidl, you see the 20 years old Dovidl, and then you see Clive Owen, and you believe completely that it's the same person.
At the beginning, when I play him, he's moving over from Poland, from Warsaw to London, to study with Carl Flesch, who I know about and is quite a famous violinist, and it's probably very exciting for him, but at the same time quite confusing.
Martin grows up as an only child, and so when he first meets Dovidl, he lacks, I think, the social awareness that a boy that age is required to have. And Martin is trying to establish dominance. But at the same time, Dovidl is just so naturally, he just takes up the space.
We make good team, yes? You want to fight?
Yeah.
Martin and Dov are very different characters. And Martin's the admirer, you know, in a lot of the story. So Dov kind of comes in and just turns everything on its head, you know. He's everything Martin wants to be, in a way.
When we meet Dovidl at my age, he's lived in the UK for quite a few years now, and he's undergone a kind of assimilation with his surroundings and with the family that he's living with, religiously, culturally, intellectually, and he has begun the journey, I suppose, consciously or subconsciously away from his old identity and his Polish-Jewish identity.
Then one day, Dovidl disappears, lets Martin down, the whole family down. So then there's a mix of love and resentment and anger and trying to understand what happened on that day when he didn't show up to the concert.
Have you seen who's out there? Peers of the realm, members of parliament, the Times music critic. Such people are not kept waiting.
I think it's his best friend that walked out on him, and that was that, 35 years before. And I think he got over it, had moved on, but then it all comes tumbling back. The anger and the love that he has for David is what we flesh out.
So Helen has been married to Martin for about 30 years. She's very much in love with him, as he is with her. But Martin's obsession with understanding and finding out where his friend went when he was in his 20s, suddenly disappeared from his life, has really taken over his life to a degree.
You'll spend every penny we've got. He won't turn up. You'll have a stroke, you'll die, he won't even come to your funeral.
It's a bit morbid, isn't it?
So what Tim brings with him is
scars. There is an edge deep down. I mean, he is the eyes of the audience in this film. He is the observer. We see the story through him from beginning to end, from the time that Dovidl first appears in his life.
My first 2 days filming, we're playing a violin concert in the beautiful Liszt Academy here in Budapest, and I had to be a supposedly world-class violinist, and for somebody who'd never picked up a violin before the film, we had a great teacher who's a soloist who I spent a lot of time with and came to the house, and we put hours and hours and hours of work in, and it was tough work because trying to do something that's, you know, somebody would spend 30 years honing and getting as good as I should be.
Yeah, the music, it is like a character in the film, and it's carrying you along through the story. It's creating clarity in the narrative, and it's providing also a subtext. It's telling part of the story through music, which is what really the movie, this film and this story is about. It's about music.
This is an ambitious film. It's a wide and large canvas on which we're painting this story.
But at its heart, it's about a sibling relationship. It's about music, it's about talent, it's about choices of faith, and it's a very, very important, touching drama.
It's certainly not a film designed for fast consumption. It has happened to me once or twice in my career that I have produced films that 20, 25 years later people still talk about and has a real impact on their lives. And that's my hope for this film.
Du hast dir Zeit gelassen, Mortel. Werden Sie ihn unterrichten? Er ist ein Genie.
Vielleicht kann ich ihn unterrichten. Sie bleiben in London?
Ich muss zurück nach Warschau zu meiner Frau und meinen Töchtern. Ich würde ihn hier lassen.
Was spielst du?
Piano. Ein bisschen.
Ich bin ein Genie. Ich helfe dir. Dann wirst du ein bisschen genial. Wir bilden ein gutes Team, ja?
Dies ist eine Niccolo Galliano Figlio, 1735.
Alles Gute zur Bar Mitzwa, David.
Nochmal.
Das haben sie wahrscheinlich durchmachen müssen. Meine Eltern, meine Schwestern. Hast du eine Ahnung, wie viele Menschen letzte Nacht gestorben sind? Zehntausende! Und niemand kennt doch nur ihre Namen.
Heute Nacht wird sein erstes Konzert vor internationalem Publikum stattfinden. Hat er irgendwas gesagt, wohin er nach der Probe wollte?
Nein, nichts.
Zu meinem größten Bedauern muss ich Ihnen mitteilen, dass der Künstler, den Sie hier hören wollten, heute Abend leider nicht auftreten kann.
Dann geh und finde ihn.
Ich glaube, ich habe ihn gefunden.
Soll das jetzt dein neues Hobby werden? David suchen, nachdem ein halbes Leben vergangen ist.
Ich suche nach David Rapaport. David Rapaport. Wahrscheinlich in den 50er. Eine Galliano von 1735.
Suchen Sie das Instrument oder den Eigentümer?
Nach beidem. Wann haben Sie ihn zuletzt gesehen?
Ist Jahre her.
Er ist ein Virtuose. Etwa in meinem Alter.
So etwas haben Sie noch nie in Ihrem Leben gehört.
Warum verschwendest du deine Zeit für ihn? Unsere Zeit.
Ich bin vielleicht alles, was er hat.
Das war seine Leidenschaft, das Lied zu spielen.
Warum hast du das getan?
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob du das verstehst. Äußerst unheimlich.
Man muss nicht schuldig sein, um sich so zu fühlen.